But civil disorders from back in the day till today, from 1968 till 2016, once again has not changed. Nothing is different as far as the root cause. The root cause, once again, is racism. According to the commission, it's white racism. But the root cause is racism, which is white supremacy. That's the root cause. All right, y'all, you already know what it is. Chauncey, aka Ukarema, great man of God media, right back at you with another GMOGmedia spotlight. All right, family, a little bit under the weather today, but I'm gonna fight through it, try to get the information out to the people. You feel me? But anyway, with this topic I want to talk about civil disorders. All right, now this topic I've actually talked about quite a few times on my channel, but I want to drive home a point regarding the latest police shootings, right? And how black people are reacting to the police shootings by killing other police officers. All right, and some of the police officers may be race soldiers masquerading as police officers, but I'm gonna break down all this information in this video, family. If you're new, family, I'm Chauncey, aka Ukarema. I talk about issues that affect black people collectively as a group. All I do is offer my suggestions on how to remedy the situation. You have people who talk about counterintelligence, right, or counterterrorism. This channel is about counter racism. All right, so again, all I do is offer my suggestions on how to replace this system of racism, which is white supremacy, with the system of justice. So anyway, family, like I mentioned to you about the shootings, the police shootings of black men, women, and children. And again, because we live in this system, right, of injustice, this is going to continue to happen. But now, black people are reacting to these situations, right? It's quite similar to how black people were reacting back in the day in the 50s and the 60s, right? Now, in regards to the civil disorders, right? Again, like I said, I've talked about civil disorders quite a few times, right? And specifically what I'm talking about is the National Advisory Commission on Civil Disorders, right? It was a report that was commissioned by President Lyndon B. Johnson, all right, in 1968, okay? And this was a group of independent people, all right, family? I'll have it on the screen so you can see the people who were involved with this report. They wanted to find out why black people were basically having an uprising, reacting towards injustices in the community, police brutality, right? Racism, things of that nature. But these are all the findings that this particular group, this commission, they found themselves. And so President Lyndon B. Johnson at the time wanted to find out why black people were rioting, etc., protesting, all that stuff. They wanted to find out what was the root cause of the situation, and the root cause has not changed at all whatsoever. All right, but as you can see on the screen, this is the people that were involved in the commission. All right, you have people like Orwell Kerner, governor of Illinois. You got John Lindsay, right, mayor of New York City. Fred Harris, United States Senator of Oklahoma. I.W. Abel, United States Steelworkers of America. You had Edward Brooke, Charles Thornton, James C. Sorman, Will Rickens, who was the executive director of the NAACP, the only African American on the group. William McCullough, Katharine Graham Pendon, Herbert Jenkins, right? And the conclusion that they found, and I'm gonna open up with this statement, the conclusion that they found, right, family? And I'm gonna make this contrast because, again, they're talking about a situation that happened in 1968. This report was done in 1968. And their conclusion from 1968, right, in reflection to today, has not changed. But their findings was this, quote, "Our nation is moving towards two societies, one black, one white, separate and unequal. The main culprit is said to be white racism." Okay? That was the conclusion. And to expand upon that, Tom Worker of the New York Times writes in the introduction to the report, "What has to be said has been said at last. Although the conclusion is not new, what is surprising and encouraging is that a national commission composed exclusively of moderates would reach such a conclusion unanimously and would express its findings so effectively." All right. So that's not my words. That's the words of that particular commission, that group that said the root cause, the main culprit has to be, or said to be, white racism. Now, if you go by which I go by the compensatory, I go by the code system concept. So the term white racism is an oxymoron because racism is synonymous with white supremacy. So there's only one race, there's only one form of racism. Racism is white supremacy, which means a group of people dominating and mistreating another group of people based off color, based off race. All right. But anyway, family. So again, the difference between 1968 and 2016 of civil disorders, nothing has changed. The root cause is still quote unquote white racism or racism, white supremacy. It's still the root cause, is still the main culprit. Now, the difference between 1968 and 2016, the one major difference is social media, internet, technology, right? So when people are reacting towards injustices, police brutality, right? Racism, right? Disenfranchised, subjugation, things of that nature. When people are reacting towards that, they're reacting with more, they're able to express themselves a lot more. For instance, right? When you, back in the 1960s, when you're reacting towards police brutality, things of that nature, you would typically march, pray, protest, riot, right? Things of that nature. Still do the same thing today. March, pray, protest, riot. Now, the difference is you can not only express your opinion in the dominant white society media, but you have a buffer in social media, like what I'm doing now. You can express your opinion in social media. You can start a hashtag. You can start a fundraiser, online crowdfunding fundraiser, GoFundMe, Indiegogo, things of that nature. You can use social media as your buffer, right? You couldn't do that back in the 60s, the 70s, et cetera, 80s, whatever. You couldn't do that back in the day, right? Now, the way that also black people are reacting, they are reacting towards police brutality by violence, which I do not condone whatsoever. So you have cases like Micah Johnson, Gavin Long. They believe that justice is to kill other police officers, right? Which I do not condone whatsoever. I do not support that. I do not support the killings of any police officers whatsoever. That is not justice. But according to them, it appears to be that was justice for them in their eyes. They wanted an eye for an eye. And that's the difference maker, is the fact that reaction towards injustices, reacting that way, any kind of reaction period, especially an emotional reaction, is not the best reaction whatsoever. I always talk about black people need to be proactive. They need to be more proactive to attack this particular issue with racism, white supremacy. All right. There's short-term goals. There's long-term goals, but you have to attack it proactively. And there's many different ways to do it. Check out my video, Black People Must Be Proactive, where I break all that stuff down. But civil disorders from back in the day till today, from 1968 till 2016, once again, has not changed. Nothing is different as far as the root cause. The root cause, once again, is racism. According to the commission, it's white racism. But the root cause is racism, which is white supremacy. That's the root cause. The only difference maker is how black people are reacting. They're able to react with more outlets. Again, social media is the buffer. The internet is the buffer, etc., etc. And you have people who will go out and do violent acts, which I do not condone, by Micah Johnson and Gavin Long. who go out and kill other police officers. Some of them may be race soldiers who are masquerading as police officers. For the most part, you know, again, an eye for an eye like that, that is not justice. I do not support that whatsoever. Also, let me address this, family. Not only is the root cause for what's happening right now and back then in 1968 still the same, meaning the root cause is racism or white racism by the commission that did the report. Not only is the root cause the same, but the symptoms are the same. And I'm gonna read to you the symptoms of what the National Advisory Commission found to be the actual issue with the black uprising back in the 1960s. And you'll see it on the screen also. So they have intensity levels. They have first level, second level, and third level. The first level of intensity is police practices. Number 2 is unemployment and underemployment. Number 3 is inadequate housing. Second level of intensity is inadequate education. 5 is poor recreation facilities and programs. 6 is ineffectiveness of police, political structure, and grievance mechanisms. Third level of intensity, disrespectful white attitudes, discriminatory administration of justice, inadequacy of federal programs, inadequacy of municipal services, discriminatory consumer and credit practices, inadequate welfare programs. So the symptoms are exactly the same from back then till today. Again, you gotta look for patterns, family. Will I expect another police shooting? I wouldn't be surprised, right? Now, if another police shooting happens, will I expect black people reacting towards the police brutality, killing an unarmed black man, woman, or child, or somebody armed? Will I expect black people to react by protesting, marching, rioting, and perhaps killing more police officers? I hope not, but I would not be surprised. Okay, so again, we live in a system of injustice. We live in a system of racism, white supremacy. And again, I would not be surprised if these things happen again, because this system has not been replaced with the system of justice. All right, family. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All right, family. Chauncey, aka Ukarema, Great Man of God Media, signing out. Peace.